Scheherazade started a new story and said, "Once upon a time, there was a merchant who was very wealthy. He had a great fortune in land, goods, and cash. He often had to undertake long journeys for his work. One day, he had to go on a trip far away from home. He prepared his horse and took a small bag in which he placed some biscuits and dates, as he had to pass through a desert where there was no means of food or drink. He reached his destination without any trouble. After finishing his work there, when he was about to return on the fourth day, he stopped to rest in the shade of some trees, bothered by the bright sunlight. He saw a clear spring of water under a large walnut tree. He tied his horse to a branch of the tree and sat by the spring, taking out dates and biscuits from his bag. After finishing her simple meal, she washed her face and hands in the stream water. That's when she saw a very large genie, turning white with anger, heading towards her. The genie had a shining sword in his hand. The genie shouted in a terrifying voice, "Get up and get ready to die, because you have killed my son." Hearing this, the merchant started trembling with fear. He said nervously, "Oh, brother, what have I done to you? Why do you want to kill me?" The genie replied angrily, "I will kill you just as you killed my son." The merchant said, "But how did I kill your son? I don't even know him, and I have never seen him." The genie asked, "Did you stay here? And did you eat dates from your bag and throw the seeds around?" The merchant replied, "Yes, I did that." The genie said, "So understand that you have killed my son. When you were throwing the date seeds, one of them struck my son's eye, and he died. Now I will kill you." The merchant said in tears, "Oh, great king, please forgive me. I made this mistake unintentionally." The genie said, "I will not forgive you. What you did will happen to you." Saying this, the genie grabbed the merchant's hand and threw him to the ground. Then, raising his sword, he got ready to behead him. The merchant started crying, remembering his wife and children. He kept pleading for his innocence, but it had no effect on the genie. Scheherazade noticed at that moment that morning was approaching. She paused her story here, because the Sultan woke up early every morning to attend the court. Dinarzade said, "Sister, this is an amazing story." Scheherazade replied, "Sister, the story ahead is even more interesting. If the Sultan allows me to live one more day, I will tell you the whole story." The Sultan, who had been listening to the story with great interest until now, began to think, "All right, I will wait until tomorrow morning. I always have time to have her killed." The next morning, when the Sultan went to the assembly, he did not give his cruel order. The vizier felt a great relief. Before dawn, Dinarzade said to her sister, "Sister, if you are awake, continue telling your story." The Sultan himself said, "Tell me the rest of the story. My curiosity about the outcome of the merchant and the jinn's tale is growing." Scheherazade began the story again. Every morning she told a new story, and the Sultan kept her alive to finish the tale. When the merchant saw that the genie was ready to kill him, he said, "I have one last request. Please give me a little time so that I can say goodbye to my family and write my will. After that, I will return and be ready to face your punishment." The genie said, "If I give you time, you will not return." The merchant promised, "I swear by my honor that I will definitely come back." The genie asked, "How much time do you need?" The merchant replied, "A year. I promise that exactly 1 year from now, I will come to meet you here under this tree." Hearing this, the genie released him and vanished. Upon reaching home, the merchant told his family the whole story. Everyone began to cry sadly. The merchant settled his affairs, donated to the poor, and made arrangements for the care of his family. A year later, he reached under that tree. As soon as the genie arrived there, 3 old men also came and, after hearing the merchant's story, said to the genie, "We also want to be witnesses to this event." After that, the genie tried to kill the merchant. Just then, an old man fell at the genie's feet and said, "O king of the genies, I will tell you my story. If my story is more unique than the merchant's story, please forgive 1/3 of his punishment." The genie thought for a moment and said, "All right, I am ready to listen." The old man began to tell his story.